Yes, welcome to another Escapement Show, and we have Mr. Lucha Betting Mark in the house.
Jeez.
Yeah, good to see you, Lucha. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for the clip. Jeez, I feel.
I thought I'd run you a little intro there. Seeing as we're honored to have you on the show today. Yeah. So, guys, how you all doing in the chat? Good to see you. Let's run through some names. Scratchy, good to see you. Your gloves are on the way to Australia, so hope you get those soon. Chili Badger, tuning into one of the remaining watch shows about watches. Thank you very much, my friend. Jim Miller, morning, good morning. And he says that he's already upvoted. Yeah, if you like what we do, guys, give us a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm and all that, you know. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Russell, good to see you. Good to see you, Russell996. Always good to see you in chat. As well as Brent, as stalwart view of all the channels. Tommy, good to see you, my friend. Hope the guitar playing's going well. And what's Watch Apprentice got to say? Couldn't find the show, Thomas. Just got a reminder. That's good. That's good. Hey, Jockey. Just get your comment. Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Hope you too. You got better weather than us in the UAE. I must say, my friend. It's a bit chilly in the UK, a bit chilly in America where Mark is, a bit chilly in the Black Forest where Abdul is, a bit chilly in Ireland where Ben is, but JCB, it's got nice hot weather.
Sweating my balls off down here.
Yeah, like Jim Miller says, freezing cold in England. When you see it, good to see you. Hi, guys. And what's Jock say? Yeah, it's been wearing a hoodie. You've been wearing a hoodie at night.
Yeah.
Jeff, warm here in Melbourne.
The same, man. I'm a very warm person, but I've put hoodie and tracksuit bottoms on at night too.
Yeah, I think he meant hoodie at night outside, not inside.
Oh, I meant under the covers in the bed, everything. Heating on, the works.
Jeff, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're keeping well here in Melbourne. And haven't seen you on the streams for a while. Hope your nice 4-piece watch collection's going well. Kevin Hawthorne, stalwart viewer, did your 4th news interview with the Citrus Connection bus terminal in Lakeland, Florida on Thursday. Will be on WTSP channel news.
Awesome.
My 21st year working there. Wow, that's interesting, Kevin. And we've got Bill in the chat. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Bill. Good to see you, my friend. So, a few hellos said. What's everyone got on wrist today? Some wristwatch check. Ben, we'll start with you.
Seiko 6105, a.k.a. Willard.
Oh, the original Willard.
It's the original, yeah. This one's from 1975. Big old piece. I like a big watch. This is my Panerai of the collection.
Beautiful, lovely, nice one. JCB, what are you wearing?
Just the Transocean today, Thomas. Just rocking that. I was wearing my Moon Swatch around today. It was so hot and sweaty, but thought I'd dress it up for the show and get something on nice on the wrist.
I like the way you say just my Transocean.
You've changed the strap on at JCB, I think. Have you? You've sportified it up a little bit.
No, that's the Milanese mesh, which has been on there for a while now, mate.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought you were wearing it on a leather, but
no, I think that might have been a Zenith that I might have pulled up.
That's right.
Last week.
That's right.
On the mesh. That's it. The Milanese, not shark mesh. Milanese.
Beautiful.
Abdul, what you got on wrist?
I have the Datejust 16234.
Oh yes.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I thought the anniversary show, and the Datejust has an anniversary, and this is the first watch I bought with my first couple of salaries here in Germany. So
Beautiful.
when I started working, and for me, I didn't want to sell it, and I don't think I would be selling it, but just because of the sentimental value it has for me.
Oh, it's pure class.
That's what watches are about, isn't it? Sentimental value. That's what we hold on to them for, memories. And
and
I
the
think
white
it's good.
Fluted bezel combination with the Jubilee, just and for 36 millimeters, it's just
That's a perfect Rolex for me.
Yeah, perfect.
Rhodium dial, Roman numerals. That's like the precursor to the Wimbledon, really.
Yeah.
Good call, Ben. Yep. Beautiful watch.
Yeah, and it's that's what watches are about, marking occasions as well, aren't they? You know, so Lucha, what you got on wrist?
I am not wearing a 36 millimeter watch. Also an anniversary watch. I'm wearing the 43.5 millimeter Planet Ocean.
Oh, beautiful. That's a new pickup for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I picked this up a few weeks ago.
Beautiful.
I love that.
Killer.
Love the orange. Love the orange Texas.
Orange, I like everything about it. It's just a cool watch. It's thick.
Beautiful.
It's a big chunky, but it fits.
Yeah, lovely.
The color combination is awesome, Lucha. Yeah. I love it.
It's pretty sick.
And
the bezel looms on this one, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
It doesn't have the liquid metal bezel. It has the ceramic loom.
Ceramic. Cool.
I'm joining Abdul with the Datejust. I've got my palm fronds on.
Palm fronds.
That's the one that got away. I really wanted to get this one because of the green color and the palm. Really, really nice purchase, Tom.
Yeah.
Discontinued, Tom.
Yeah, discontinued.
The only way is up, baby.
Yeah.
My first Datejust. And Jim Millett says he's wearing his 216570 Polar Dial Explorer 2. Beautiful watch, Jim.
Cool piece. Yep.
Let's see what we got. Anyone else wearing anything nice in the chat? Jim says he loves his Planet Ocean, Mark. Yeah.
We're big Polar fans in this group.
Oh, Design Atelier, welcome, my friend. Good to see you.
Hey, Jason. Good to see you, mate.
And Jock should say, lovely watches, boys. Thank you, Jock. Yeah.
Cheers, Jock.
Cheers, Jock.
So, yeah, we will. 2025 is an anniversary year for quite a few watches and quite a few different brands this year. And I was thinking about this topic, and Watches with Dennis picked me to the post with a stream they did the other night. So I dropped the link to that. If you want to watch that later on. Oh, look at Russell. Baller. Hubitus on wrist today.
Nice.
And Jock's wearing his 114060. I think that's no date sub, is it?
No date sub. Yep, sure is. Ceramic,
Beautiful.
40 mil. Yeah, beautiful piece. Yep.
Beautiful.
Do you know which Cubitus Russell got? Which of the three?
He got the blue dial calendar one. The calendar.
Calendar. Oh,
the platinum calendar one. Yeah.
Yeah, the top dog one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Design Atelier is saying it's the birth of his watch this year. So for us, it will be his anniversary for the watch he designed. Yeah.
Thanks, Jason.
Cool.
And
is this the one that he showed We had some photos of it a couple of weeks back. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jamie's watches an iPhone. So yeah, Lich Betting Mark picked us to the post on the watch roundup. So there are a couple in that he did, but he's covered a few more that we haven't covered. So talking of Datejusts, we'll start it off. And it's going to be the 80th anniversary of the Datejust this year. And this is a Buckley dial, famous from John Buckley with the Roman numerals. And the Datejust. So, yeah, in 931, Rolex designed the white rotor, which is in all watches now. And 945, after when they formed in 1945, they celebrated their jubilee, their ruby jubilee, with the introduction of the Datejust, the first watch with a date, and also the introduction of the Jubilee bracelet. So the Jubilee bracelet came about in 1945 and has been around and has been one of their signatures ever since, along with the fluted bezel that came on the Datejust. And this isn't one of my favorite Datejusts, but I'll just put up a nicer picture of a nicer one, which is the linen dial.
So they designed the Jubilee bracelet for the Datejust when it came out.
For the Datejust, when it came out in 1940. That's why it's called the Jubilee bracelet.
Yeah, it was for that.
For the Jubilee for the Ruby Jubilee, the 40th year. Yeah, I mean, the Datejust has gone through. It's got so many dial variations, so many different dials. I mean, this linen dial is a lovely one. I think Junior Johnson's got one like this. They've got the rhodium dials like Abdul's. They've ventured into the palm dials like I've got now. They've got so many watches, and it's a classic dress watch. It's a classic watch, I think. The Datejust. It can be one and done. It really can. I don't know what your thoughts are on the Datejust, everyone.
It's really versatile.
I wanted to tell you also they made like lacquered dials. I have the 1601. It's a sort of lacquer dial 1976. I remember, and I got for my mother for her birthday the 1625 turnograph. So it's a Datejust, but the bezel turns both ways, basically on a rubber, and it's from 1969. So I think this year they might get a some kind of rotating bezel anniversary Datejust, because there isn't any on their list at the moment.
Right. So lacquer dials. Yeah, Skysenbar saying Winston Churchill was gifted a Datejust in 1945 by Rolex. For me,
the Datejust is just the perfect watch. It's just, you can wear it to go swimming, you can wear it in the office, you can wear it in meeting, you can wear it in going out, and on the Jubilee bracelets, it's just so comfortable. Like it's really, really comfortable.
Do we think that there'll be any celebratory release for the 40th anniversary? I mean, will there be anything that they'll pump out, do you think? Or it's a 40th anniversary? Sorry, the 80th anniversary.
It'd be cool to brought back like a Thunderbird or a Turnograph. That was my original Datejust, was a Thunderbird.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I think the same thing. A Turnograph, Thunderbird, kind of rotating bezel, Datejust anniversary. I think that would be really nice.
It was really slick.
Yeah, there's a number of comments there. Just say that the Datejust is an icon. 100% agree. It's as iconic as anything coming out from Rolex, as iconic as the Submariner or anything else. Incredible. I didn't realize they was 80 years old, and moreover, I didn't realize that they were doing a fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet 80 years ago.
Yeah.
It's got incredible historical significance. That will be the one I go for too. Fluted with the Jubilee. That's the real iconic Datejust. I think there's every possibility that they'll come out with something special this year. They're always coming out with special dials for the Datejust, like your own palm fronds, Tom.
Yeah.
So I can see they tend not to make a big song and dance about it until the release time, but you could see a celebration style Datejust with a very special, colorful dial.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, interesting.
But the Buckley dial was a bit too plain of its age. You know, I love a modern Datejust with a sunburst dial or something special, a linen dial, lacquer dial. It has to have a bit of bling to go along with it. That's the beauty. That's the versatility of a Datejust. It's an everyday sports watch, but it could be bling fest as well when you want it to be.
Yeah. I had my first Rolex watch was a Datejust, but I was just trying to sort of get into the Rolex market, and I bought a smooth bezel oyster Datejust, so a smooth bezel oyster bracelet and a black dial, and I just got bored of the thing within 6 months, and since then I've always said in my head, if you're going for the Datejust, it's got to be fluted bezel, got to be on the Jubilee. Like that's the archetypical Datejust. That's the one with the bling, and like Ben said, it can be it's got to have that bit of bling. Otherwise, it's just too boring. It's got to look like this, and that's in my view what a Datejust is: fluted bezel, Jubilee, nice dial. Give it some pop. Get sunburst blue or the what is it? The Wimbledon, something a little bit special, and you'll have a really nice watch that they can really wear all over the place. Yeah.
Patek Philippe has an interesting point here, because there's been a bit of a resurgence of stone dials last year, hasn't there? Yeah. With the Li Don Chan, the Baltic what was it? The Prismic and the Denison watches with stone dials. So could they bring back the stone dials for the Datejust, do you think? That's an interesting one, Patel.
That would be interesting. They tend to reserve the stone dials, don't they, for the president?
Yeah, for the day date. Yeah,
day dates. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up. I've got them. I've just Googled it, and they did bring out the stone dials in the Datejust. You got the lapis lazuli and the malachite one as well. There's quite a few different ones there. So, yeah, it would be really cool if they brought them back. But yeah, I feel like they're probably going to do that for the day dates and probably keep it a bit reserved. Maybe keep it a bit special for those ones.
Yeah,
but, maybe as an anniversary.
It's a funny anniversary. See, the 80th anniversary. So, I mean, maybe they might save it for the 100th anniversary or something. I mean, you never know. But Rolex are a bit funny, aren't they? I mean, I'll go on to the next watch, which a lot of articles said was the 70th anniversary, but turned out it wasn't. The GMT-Master, the
Pussy Galore.
On a Bachmann wore in a Goldfinger, the 6542 with the Bakelite bezel. Now, a lot of magazines have been saying that this was made in 1955 and it's having its 70th anniversary this year. Now, it's wrong, because it was in production from 1954 to 1959. So this one was designed for the Pan Am pilots and that was in 1954. So the article's got it wrong. So, but we didn't see any fanfare for this last year, did we? We didn't see any 70th anniversary GMT big deal, did we? There wasn't any big deal for the GMT. So Rolex are obviously not that bothered about anniversaries. You know, the 50th anniversary for the Kermit, you know, big deal, but they're not really. Didn't seem that they're really that bothered, Rolex, about anniversaries. What do you think?
Unless it's 100 years of Le Mans, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say, it was the 50th anniversary of the sub, the original aluminum bezel green.
Yeah, the Kermit.
Yeah, I remember that watch sitting in my local AD for over a year.
Yeah. Yeah, they just sat in the windows. Yeah.
Nobody wanted it.
That's a stunning looking watch there, where they celebrate the anniversary of it, or maybe the year is not quite an anniversary year, but and pussy galore. Every day I learn of a new Rolex nickname. But in terms of how vintage watches, how that looks is just incredible. With the
maybe the 75th anniversary they'll do something with the GMT-Master.
Well, there was talk. I remember there was talk last year about them bringing out a Coke bezel, because that's the only bezel that's really missing from the lineup at the moment, right? Because if you think about it, at the moment, the GMT line is at its most diverse as it's ever been. You know, you've got the root beer, you've got the Pepsi, you've got the Batman, you've got the Guinness. You've got all the variants of all of those in different metals. You know, it's pretty. And the Sprite as well, and the left-hander. So the only thing that's missing is the Coke, actually. So
I absolutely love the 5-digit Coke. It's one of my favorite neo vintage watches. But it's always the default prediction every single year with Rolex, isn't it? They'll bring back the Coke bezel.
Yeah, the Coke.
they never do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love if they did.
Yeah,
let's do it, man. Get it over and done with them. Just bring it out.
Although there's something about those 4 and 5-digit Rolex, like for me, but I guess I'm skinny wristed. I just think they fit better than the modern GMT-Master.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah, Patek Philippe saying they didn't really do anything for the sub last year for the anniversary. Maybe this was still see 70 as new 60. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
CB says he never liked the Coke bezel.
Yeah, but there's a polar opposite opinion just below that from Brent.
Yeah. A friend of mine just picked up a sort of a neo vintage 5-digit Coke oyster bracelet, solid end links to the Holes case, and man, in the metal, such a cool watch.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's real cool. Real cool.
Happy birthday, Nisa and Fletcher from Fairhaven, Massachusetts. It's always her birthday and Marcelo's birthday, so we've got to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
There's a really good Instagrammer, I'm sure you've heard of him, Bowl of Salmon. He's on YouTube now as well.
Ben, sorry, I just found his page yesterday. Just yesterday. Yeah. I don't know how the algorithm threw up something, and I actually emailed one of my friends going, check this guy's page out, Bowl of Salmon. Fucking awesome. Yeah.
Amazing photographer. But he's said on his YouTube he's given up his day job, but the reason I mention him is the Coke is the centerpiece of his collection.
Now, the Seamaster is Omega's oldest model range, dating back to 1948 when it was released as Omega's 100th anniversary present to itself. A lot's changed since then, and several designs have come and gone. And in 2005, the Planet Ocean was released. And I'll just get to that. And yeah, the Planet Ocean was released. Bigger and more conveniently styled than the Seamaster Professional 300, Bond Seamaster from 1995 in GoldenEye. This is Omega's early 2000s attempt to compete realistically with the Submariner, It's one of my favorite Omega divers, despite it being a bit too thick. Despite being a bit too thick. On the coaxial caliber 2500, and which was thinner and really good. And modern ones have the 8500 caliber. And so Mark, take us away.
So here, if I could change one thing on this, I would have that kind of open 9 and 6 that they have on that dial. I think that's just classy looking. The new one has the double barrel coaxial, the 8900 with the quick set hour, and the 60 hours of power reserve instead of 55. So one of the things I always liked about Omega is that when you go up in size, you usually get a better movement. And I have a big wrist, so it works.
But
just look at the design of that watch. Like it's nearly the perfect dive watch, really. It's just so classic. Yeah, I just loved what they did with this first release of the 2500 Planet Ocean. It's just so good,
isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, I went to try one on, Thomas. That one came up in a local shop in my area, and I was all set to go buy it. This exact piece here, black with the first run, but just found it was a little bit too chunky for me. It was about 14.6 mil, I think, something like that. And I just always thought to myself, if they just had have brought it down at 1 mil, it would have just sold so much better. And so from this piece here, they've just gotten thicker and thicker and thicker. Like Lucha says, if you've got the wrist to pull it off, then, happy days and good luck to you. But for me, it's just a bit too much.
I think this one is 16.2.
That's 16.2. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much. And it's such a shame because, and I know I've said it so many times before. You guys are probably sick of hearing it. Like, if it was a mil or two thinner, it would be one of their best-selling
I know
watches.
what you mean. Yeah. They just got ridiculous. I mean, the Emirates Team New Zealand sailing one they did was 17 mil thick. It's bizarre.
Yeah, the GMT version is 17.2 now.
That's ridiculous. It's just, there's something about Omega that they just can't get their heads around making a thin watch.
They make Lucha watches, Thomas.
I don't mind them being wide. I don't mind the width of them, the girth, but the girth is ridiculous. It's just
that's what she said. But I always loved the Planet Ocean. It's like the best combination of the Seamaster and the Railmaster and old vintage Omega stylings. When I got into this hobby, say 7 or 8 years ago, one of my absolute favorite watches was the orange bezel version of this with the black dial and the orange numerals. Yep. In fact, I kind of followed a very archetypal route in my watch collecting. I bought a Seiko SKX and then went down the modding route and did everything I could to mod that SKX to make it look like that.
Make it look like that.
Yeah. It's so classic. It's so beautiful. And like you said, the although I love the newer one, that 6 and that 9, if they'd stuck with that font, it's just perfect.
Yeah, that's what, with the design of this watch, it's got so many. They just picked up all of the best stuff of the Seamaster line from the last 50 years, and they put it all into this watch. That's why it's just such a great design of a watch. It's really cool. And speaking of mods, what people do, Ben, is they get the 2254 and they put on the Planet Ocean, because the 2254 is only 11.5 millimeters thick. It's really thin, right? And they put the Planet Ocean bezel, and you can get a dial that looks similar to this as well. So they sort of mod it so you get the best of both worlds. You get this Planet Ocean looking watch in a 11.5 sort of 12 millimeter thick case, which is a pretty cool thing when you go into the mental Omega modding community.
Right. Is the 2254 that is an Omega? It's an Omega base?
Oh, the 2254 Seamaster was around. It's the sword hands, you know, the sword hands Omega. That one, yeah. So that was around it. It came out with the Bond Seamaster. So you had the Bond was the blue dial, and the 2254. It's the 2254 is the reference. 2254.50. So that's the reference. So you had the blue dial Bond, and then you had the black dial 2254 with the C hands. They were with the sword hands. They were the two watches that were around, sort of in that early 2000s.
Yes,
but nice thin cases, and then they came out with this one, and then it just went all hell broke loose with the thickness.
So talking of Bond, I mean, the Bond Omega franchise started in 1995 with GoldenEye and with the Bond Pierce Brosnan Seamaster Professional. And that's another anniversary that is on the horizon for Omega this year, the 30th anniversary of Bond and Omega. And Omega have got another anniversary, which is 55th anniversary of the Apollo 13 and Silver Snoopy Award. So Omega trying to cram in a few anniversaries this year. But I think the Planet Ocean is the best one for me.
Well, this is the difference now in my mind between Rolex and Omega. We've mentioned Rolex anniversaries coming up. You just don't know. They may or they may not do something. I can guarantee you Omega is going to celebrate every single one of those anniversaries.
Yeah, you're right.
Probably make up a few as well. I see they brought out another Speedmaster yesterday.
Yeah.
21 meteorite dial, all platinum, like hitting six figures.
Yeah, that was actually that watch actually came out 5 years ago, Ben. The Platinum Speedy.
What
they did was they just brought out the platinum bracelet for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, on to another brand, which is another watch, should I say. So, people aren't necessarily fans of this one. But when Jean-Claude Biver joined Hublot in 2004, the brand had plateaued in public interest, and he'd already relaunched Blancpain upon joining Hublot. And his primary objective was to modernize Hublot with a flagship collection dubbed the Big Bang, which was launched at Basel in 2005 to great acclaim. And the design is heavily inspired by a 1980 original Hublot watch model with a porthole design and screws. And the Big Bang won GPXG for Best Design in that year. And on the 10th anniversary, Hublot did more with their movements. So what will happen on the 20th anniversary they're celebrating this year? Do we think anything will happen with the Big Bang? I mean, they've done so many iterations of it. This is a skeletonized one, a chronograph. What do we think of the Big Bang? Fans, not fans?
As far as Hublot goes, I like it's their most iconic piece for me. I did a video on some time ago about Maradona's watches. Maradona was an ambassador for Hublot, as a lot of footballers and football managers are. That seems to be the route that Hublot have gone down. And he wore two Big Bangs. They were solid golds on either wrist. The rumor was he always had one set to Argentina time and one set to local time because he played in Italy predominantly. He also presented a Big Bang to the Pope at the time. So it's the best of Hublot for me. Be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, they got the new Unico movement after the 10th anniversary, didn't they? So, it'd be interesting. Phoebe's saying he almost bought Hublot 10 times, so he's not quite bought one yet.
Almost being the operative there.
Almost, yeah, almost. It's a bit of a funny watch, the watches in general. I mean, they've done so many materials. They've done sapphire, they've done ceramic, they've done carbon, they've done...
Do Hublot not just get a load of hate in the general watch community? I know Nico's like, Hublot's a load of shit.
Yeah, Nico Leonard spooks the Hublot hate, doesn't he? But I mean, who is he? You know, he's only got 1.5 million subscribers. So,
what would he know?
Yeah, for me, different about it. You know, like there is no. I'm not. I wouldn't wear such a big watch, such a flashy watch. So I'd never had an interest in Hublot.
No.
I tried on a ceramic one in Paul Sheeran's, Tom, in Dublin.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, but the brand just puts me off. It's just one of those brands.
Yeah. What about you, Mark? Have you got any thoughts on Hublot?
I mean, I can take them or leave them. It's never really spoken to me in any way. And I know I've had hands-on with a number of them over the years. I had a number of customers and that have had them. Usually immigrants. Like that was an aspirational piece for them where they came from. And they were very proud of their Hublots. And they're fine. It just never I never looked at it and said, I gotta have one of those.
Yeah, like a lot of us. I mean, a lot of us are Watches and Wonders. I tend to drift past the Hublot sort of stand and take a quick glance in the window. And
is that the bracelet system or the strap system that you just have to push from outside and then you can take the strap off to make it easier?
I think so, Abdul. Yeah, it's this.
Yeah, that's a quick release strap.
The easiest watch to steal from someone in a stop sign.
Quick release system, yeah.
To press on the outside, you know, like I don't understand how can you do this.
So there's not much love for Hublot. We'll move on.
Much love. Overpriced.
Yeah, they are pretty overpriced, aren't they, Ben? That's a good point. Yeah.
But that's what we've always said. Like the movements that they use are derivative or add-ons to, I guess, regular ETA movements are easily available, and then they're overpriced when they get to market.
Is that sort of where the hate comes from, do you think? Like, is it because of that? Like, when you combine that with the price, because I think lately it seems, that the designs and the case materials have been pretty cool. Like, they've been doing some cool stuff.
I think a lot of the AP fanboys hate on them because they believe that the porthole design is ripped off from the Royal Oak. You know, it's,
I think, 100%. I think even JCB even said, like, when he went from like Hublot, when he went from AP to Hublot, he was like, "Yeah, I'm just sort of ripping off a Royal Oak, basically, you know, and designing the Big Bang or whatever." Yeah. I think that's probably got a big thing to do with it as well.
Yeah.
So the Girard-Perregaux Laureato, 50 years this year, and came out in 1975. Designed by Italian architect Adolfo Natalini, with the bezel taking inspiration from the domed roof of the cathedral in Florence. This inaugural design of the GP Laureato, launched in 1975, was called the Quartz Chronometer. However, the model soon became known as the Graduate, which translates as Laureato in Italian, and of the school of Girard-Perregaux. And again, done in most materials already. What could we see happening to the Laureato on its 50th anniversary? Do you think anything? I mean, this is the original one. One of the original ones. That's from 1990. That's the original design. But now there's just the catalogue is full of all of these different ones.
Yeah.
Gold, carbon, ceramic.
Yeah.
I like the Laureato, to be honest.
I love it.
I love it. I really like it. Really do like it. But
and I love that they're available and they're in a price range that's, it's less than similar type Royal Oaks and Nautilus. Plus, the 50th anniversary is a big one anyway, isn't it? And they tend to do a lot with the Laureato. Again, they've had a great recent history of experimenting with different materials. There's some really cool ceramic materials, and look at that.
I love the skeleton one. That's so cool.
It's so well done. The bridge work on that is just incredible.
Amazing watch. The secondary market, there's deals on these. And they're just, look at that thing.
Yeah, I've always said the ceramic skeleton is like one of the most underrated watches out there at the moment. It's such a cool piece.
Yeah.
And like for a luxury watch brand, they're really not afraid to experiment. Some of their pieces have like green and blue marbling strewn throughout the titanium case, or whatever it is, ceramic or ceramic, I presume. They're just not afraid to experiment, do some really cool stuff.
Why do you think GP is just not as popular as it should be? Like not many people like GP, and you hear people saying that they're garbage and blah blah blah. Like I don't get it. Like I feel like they're a real undervalued and underappreciated brand.
Yeah, they're definitely underappreciated in the general watch enthusiast mindset. As to why,
I think maybe they had like a period of time where they had like, let's say, shady watches, collaborations with Ferrari, and using like out of the box at the movements, putting a module on it, and then selling it for a higher price. But the last couple of years, I have to say, they're doing awesome work, in-house movement.
Well, they still got shady collaborations with Aston Martin, as in this one. The ceramic one. So
you don't like that? I kind of like that.
Yeah, they sponsored their Formula One team now as well. So
really,
yeah, Alonso and Stroll are always wearing GP watches. Mike Crock, the Formula One principal from Aston Martin, also wears one. So all the new watches, they will be wearing it in the races.
I suppose the danger is they become a Laureato-centric brand, but that definitely, like as you were saying, Abdul, in the last couple of years, it's the Laureato that has really raised the game. It's like the Christopher Ward Bel Canto or whatever. It's kind of changed the direction for the brand. But I remember watching videos before when I got into the hobby, and the Girard-Perregaux cases in the airport and stuff like that always suffered from huge reductions from RRP, and then they performed very poorly in the secondary market, which most luxury brands always want to perform well on the secondary market because it's really indicative of how they're perceived.
Yeah,
and Girard-Perregaux until the Laureato.
That's a nice watch, though. That Panda Chrono.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that Panda Chrono.
Maybe they will do a new complication. Because I think they did a lot of metals, they did a lot of colors. They have the chronograph, they have the time only. I don't think I see any kind of, let's say, calendar complication or something like that.
Okay. Or a tourbillon has the skeleton. Does the skeleton one use a tourbillon?
No, it doesn't. They could do a tourbillon. That's a good
point. 50th anniversary tourbillon on that kind of case with a skeletonized. That would be
a skeletonized tourbillon would work well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, skeletonized tourbillon. Did we see anything else for GP? Do you think?
I think Laureato. That's the only.
They do so much.
Skeletonized tourbillon, mini repeater, maybe.
Yeah. No, you're
they're
talking.
They're not quite. I think they leave mini repeaters for their other watches, don't they?
Yeah. I think maybe calendar would be like the Nautilus, you know, like the triple calendar maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, triple day maybe. So I'll leave the GP alone. We've done that. Now, this one interested me, this next one. The IWC Ingenieur.
Oh.
Now, this is the 70 years. It came about in 1955 before Joe Genti designed the IWC Ingenieur SL, the sport luxury model, in 1974, which was released in 1976. There was the original Ingenieurs introduced in 1954 to 55, the 666A and the 666AD, with the D standing for date. And both were created under the direction of Albert Pelleton, who was IWC's technical director since 1944 and famous for the creation of the Pelleton winding system. And this was the original watch for scientists, engineers, doctors, and people working in magnetic environments before Rolex brought out the Milgauss in 1956 and Omega made the Railmaster in 1957. So do you think that IWC would maybe reissue this kind of Ingenieur? They made a big fuss of releasing the Jenner-inspired version and priced it highly. And it was a bit of it was quite a hit, though. So could these sort of things be a hit, do you think?
Did you say this one came out the year before the Genta designs?
This came out in 1955.
Oh, okay, 20 years before, 21 years.
20 years, yeah.
Before the Milgauss and before the Railmaster.
They didn't they bring out a new Ingenieur like last year or the year before?
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Genta designed one.
Yeah, the Genta design, yeah. I don't feel like they're going to rehash this one.
No. You think the original Ingenieur doesn't deserve... I love it. I think it's really nice.
It's gorgeous.
I think if they would do this one, maybe they would do 100 limited edition, 100 platinum die or something like that. That has the same essence of the older one, but with like new technology, maybe. Because the vintage vibe is coming in again, so maybe they will ride the wave of vintage reissues.
Yes. As a tool watch, I think that's beautiful. And then the design language, like obviously that's coming from the mid-50s, but you can see how they still use elements of that design language. Those hands are very IWC. And then the Ingenieur signature at 6, which they still maintain.
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I'm really fond of this sort of design. I'm much more than the Genta design. The Genta design, I mean, it's a different genre, isn't it? Integrated bracelet and sort of more traditional sort of watch.
Yeah, this is more like Milgauss or rail style tool watch for the Ingenieur.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
more that 50s
like
design.
Designs, but I think the Gerald Genta one is more like it's made for an engineer, you know, like an Ingenieur is an engineer in German. So basically a watch for an engineer to wear, which most preferably a metal bracelet. So when you watch your hands, good watch resistant, anti-magnetism. So all the stuff that an engineer will need in his workplace because at that time a watch was a tool, you know, like you have to have a watch that you have to wear every day to work. From that perspective, I would say the newer designs. But if you ask me now, I would take this one over because it just looks so classy. And if it does the same things and I can take it off before washing my hands, or I can put stuff, it doesn't need the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a neo vintage IWC chronograph. It's kind of a darling of the enthusiast world as well. The 3706, and I didn't know that the hour hand on this watch is the very same as it. So they've carried that
Yeah.
design DNA all the way through.
That stubby hour hand. Yeah, it's like the Mark 15 pilot watch.
Yeah. Yes. I love that.
I love it as well. Yeah, really like it.
And as opposed to being like, I know I was giving out about the Buckley dial on the Datejust, but the Datejust is something different. But as Abdo, this is a real tool style watch, but it just works so well.
What's I was saying? I don't think water resistant is relevant to all tool watches as people make out to be. Most just need to be splash resistant. Very few people diving in the Mariana Trench daily, as you know.
That's a fact.
The water resistance is something, and the pressure resistance, you know, because you need also pressure resistance for some jobs, and so it's just about having, let's say, being on the safe side.
Yes.
Yeah. Excuse me, still got a bit of a cold. So that's the Entrepreneur. So we'll move on to brands, and Audemars Piguet have their 150th anniversary this year, founded in 1875 by Jules Louis Audemars and Edward Auguste Piguet. Will they just turn out a load of pop culture, Royal Oaks, and superhero themes on, or something that surpasses the GPHG winning Code 1159 ultra complicated Universal? Will they dig back into their catalogue and do a remaster celebration watch? I had a few vintage sort of watches by AP, which I quite like the look of, which I'll pull up. And these are the sort of things I would like AP to come out with, maybe. This is an Edward Piguet. You know, I think they could maybe do these under the remaster.
That's really gorgeous, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, this is only 12,000 used. It's a vintage. Didn't give the date on it, but I'd say this is around 50s, probably.
Which anniversary of AP is it this year?
150 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very significant.
So this is one that I really like the look of. There's
I love the design language there. It's very like the gondola in terms of the case.
Yeah, the gondola, the Patek gondola. You're right. Yeah.
But the dial, the dial is beautiful.
What do you think of AP Master 02 that they brought out last year, Tom?
The remaster 2, I like it. I love the remaster 1 chronograph that they did, and I really like the remaster 2 brutalist design. Yeah, I really liked it. This is another. So this is a bit like the sort of styles and another sort of aesthetics of the remaster 2. This sort of TV style case, but they go for their braided bracelets. The white gold braided bracelets, and I mean they're well known for the Royal Oak bracelet being a iconic bracelet, but this shows that they can do other things. You know, this is 1970s 18-karat white gold. This is only 34 mil though, so
yes,
this may be a lady's piece. I don't know whether it's gents. Yes, it's men's. It's men's.
When it came out, it would have been men's. Yeah,
yeah. This is men's.
Being square as well, it'd have a bit more presence than around 34.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another one which caught my eye because of the price. So that was about 10,000, 12,000 as well, £12,000. Another one which caught my eye was this one, which was bonkers price. This was $105,000. This one, and this is the lapis lazuli dial, Audemars Piguet Cobra, lapis lazuli, diamond dial. And again, you see the braided bracelet. This is obviously a lady's watch, I think.
Yes.
This one. But the braided bracelet, I mean, AP, we always go on about the AP Royal Oak bracelet being the most comfortable bracelet in the world and blah, blah, blah. But do you think for the 150th anniversary, they could dig deep and bring out a remaster of something like this or not? What do you think?
I have
I never know with AP.
I have a peer.
Possible.
I'm afraid
what do you think, Abdul?
Go the Patek way and release a hexagonal watch, a version of their Royal Oak with a weird tonneau hexagonal shape, maybe, and to compete with the Cubitus from Patek. But I hope they use the movement from the Code 1159 from last year in some other case and release it as an anniversary.
Yeah, do you think that they could maybe just expand on the Code 1159 range and try and promote that more? Do you think that's what they'd do, Abdul?
I think they already, last year, they made like a master complication on
the Universal, yeah.
So it's like, okay, now it's the Max. So maybe take the Max movement, put it in another line that's already dying or an older line that maybe they want to revive, and then make an anniversary watch that instead of the shitty ones they have been doing lately with the Marvel one and the really weird ones, and not my taste. But yeah, that's what I think.
I mean, they reached back with the what's it called, the Wandering Hours one. They brought out the
Star Wheel.
The Star Wheel. That was an AP original design from 1991. So excuse me. They can do it. You know, they have got designs in their catalogue which they can revive. I think the new Star Wheel is great. I think I love it. But what do you think, Ben? I mean,
yeah, this is a ladies' watch, isn't it? Anyway, first and foremost, wasn't there a show? Did we do a show a while back? I think these watches, were they Genta designed as well at the time? Those integrated bracelets with the lattice style.
I'm not too sure.
Maybe not. But I agree with the guys. I think whatever they do, if they're going to celebrate the anniversary, I'm just looking at the Star Wheel you were mentioning now. That's incredible. I think it will certainly utilize either the 1159 case or it will be another Royal Oak. I can't see them going back this far into their catalogue.
Right. Okay. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I agree. I think this would be a stretch, you know, to go back into something like this. I could definitely see them. I mean, they seem to be wanting to push the code, so I can see them doing something with the code. I don't know if they really need to do anything with the Royal Oak. I mean, it's, you know, how are you going to get more people to want a Royal Oak? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're definitely pushing the 1159, and again, like that watch has embedded itself. Well, now remember when the 1159 came out first, the hatred for it.
Oh god!
And now I presume there's waiting lists.
I think it's beautiful. They're, you know,
very cool.
Last year when I was in New York, we stopped at the AP store, and that Code 1159 is an absolutely amazing watch in the metal. You know,
yes,
it's just beautiful. It wears well. It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Even the basic three-hander.
Yes. Yeah, the three-hander, I think, got a lot of the backlash initially, and then when they started bringing out their chronographs, people were like, yeah, they really have something here. I just love the lugs on them. I think the lugs are fantastic.
They're amazing. The case side, it's really a beautiful watch.
I mean, we recently had the Royal Oak John Mayer perpetual calendar, didn't we? which was, but I think that was limited. The John Mayer Perpetual. I mean, will they do another just another Royal Oak? Do you think? Will they fall back on their one-trick pony and just bring out a Royal Oak? I hope they don't do a stupid Marvel comic.
If I was a betting man, I'd say that if I was a betting man, Tom, I'd say they'll go the 1159 route rather than
right. Okay, yeah. What do you think, JCB? What's your final thought?
Yeah. Look, I mean, really, with AP, like who knows what they're gonna do? With any of their watch releases, like no one wanted code 1159. Yet we got it. You know what I mean? Like it just came out of nowhere. No one was. I mean, maybe people were saying, "Oh, look, AP is a one-trick pony. You need something new." Yeah, but then they gave us that, and it sort of fell flat. So, yeah. Look, I mean, I honestly really don't know what they're gonna do. I actually like the AP QPs. The round dial ones that were around in the 70s and 80s. I wish they would go. If they go back to that sort of stuff, I'd be really happy. That would be really cool. Just trying to pull up a picture of something of what I'm talking about.
Maybe we'll get a Punisher Royal Oak.
Big shout out to Hisham Habib. Great to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Long time no see. We'll miss you.
The offshore line has been very dull lately. Maybe they will do something with the offshore.
Yeah, well, the offshore's sort of a bit dead recently, isn't it? It seems to have died a death, hasn't it?
Maybe some kind of 39 offshore releases.
Oh, yeah, the Jules Audemars sort of line. Yeah, I'd love to see that return. Yeah. I mean, this is it. They've got a back catalogue of some great stuff. The Jules Audemars, they did all the calendars, and we saw one in a previous show, didn't we? That Quantum calendar.
Jesus. Why don't they make anything like that anymore? Yeah. That is.
I know, exactly.
This is what I'm talking about. This was to me. This was sort of the golden era of AP.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe it just became financially impossible for them to deviate from the Royal Oak. It just didn't make any sense. Like if they're not making these watches, maybe that was decision by accountants and not their watch designers. But that's amazing. I mean, that's up there. Yeah, it's up there. I mean, Patek still make watches like that. Why can't AP?
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly, Ben. Absolutely.
And I mean, look at this, man. Far out. That's just so beautiful. Such a stunning piece.
Yeah, the only thing is, if you want to get something like this with modern size, JLC is the only one that offers.
Yeah.
Right.
These are 36 mil, I think. So yeah, Abdul, you're right. I was just going to say if they like bring us a modern version of this, 39, 40 mil. Exactly. Just keep it ultra thin. Obviously, that's what we want. But I just have to beef up the size, and that's it. Hey, presto, you're done. That's all I need to do.
So yeah, Rich Buddy in the comments there, Tom. We went to an AP boutique 2 days ago to try on a silver dial Royal Oak. I was told that they were not available. So I guess that's indicative of why they put all their focus into the Royal Oak, because they sell so many of them.
This one here. Just before we get off AP, this blue one skeleton on the right hand side was one of my favorite watches of all time. It's just such a killer, man. Yeah, it's so cool, and you can see they brought this. This was the first skeletonized QP that AP ever did in 1983, and then they brought this across into the Royal Oak line. So now you can see even today you've got the Royal Oak ceramic skeletonized QP. This is the great granddaddy of that watch. Look at this one, man. It's platinum, it's blue. It's just freaking unreal. Thomas, if they brought this out, this is what I'd be happy with.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see them come out with something like this. You're right, JCB.
The case on that JCB, the stepped case on that is phenomenal.
Cool. Yeah. That step up into the bezel is amazing. Yeah.
Thomas, you mentioned John Mayer before. That I think if you have a look at this blue, sorry, let me go down. I tried to zoom in too far. That one, the John Mayer has a similar sort of hammered dial to this blue one here.
Yeah.
So they dip back into their catalog every now and then when they want to. Like you said, they've got this killer back catalog. They just need to dip into the right part of it and give us the stuff that we want. So
yeah. I mean, they got some cracking stuff, haven't they? That they should do. So on to Vacheron Constantin, celebrating 270 years this year. One of the oldest brands around, founded in 1755. They like to celebrate anniversaries and have released the Tour de Ile in 2005, which was the most complicated watch at the time, and won the Aggie d'Or at the GPHG. They also released the 222 for their 222nd anniversary to compete with the Royal Oak and the Nautilus. They also still celebrate by making pocket watches. Will they release a big complication, a steel 222 revival, or something different? Maybe dig into their back catalogue. They have the Historique collection. And they like to do the historic thing. So, again, I've dug up a couple of vintage references, which I saw. Would they venture into this sort of thing? This is an 18-karat gold chronograph. I'll just bring up a better picture of it. From 1948. Just bring up a bigger picture of that. Which looks beautiful. I mean, I could see this being in their historic range. Looks absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, aesthetically, it's a beautiful watch. The classic design.
But it's nothing special. Yeah.
Yeah. Is anybody looking for that? You know what I mean? Like you can find that in other lines.
Yeah.
That anyone necessarily is going to Vacheron for that. I agree. There's some guys in the chat that say the stainless steel 222 would be the way to go.
Yeah. I'll bring up a couple of other things I saw.
A stainless steel 222 is 5711 territory, isn't it? It's just going to be impossible to pick up.
I mean, this sort of thing with the winged lug. I mean, could you see this sort of thing in the historic range?
Nice legs.
Not really. There's a bit of silence.
It's I mean, it just looks like an old watch.
That's what I like.
With it, but it's not like I don't think you're gonna drive the market with this watch.
It's of its day, I guess. I spend a lot of time looking at vintage Omegas, and they've always done a lot of stylistically curious things with lugs, and they've got the fancy lugs range and stuff like that. But I've never had a desire to own something like that.
Nah,
nothing like this either with these bizarre lugs.
Well, I was just gonna say, Thomas, like they've got the Corne de Vache lugs on the watches already, and they're not super popular. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't.
Yeah, true.
Like dipping back into these quirky lug designs, I don't think would be something that they would do, to be honest.
Yeah, I think maybe a ceramic overseas, that would be a good move, because VC was always behind when Patek and AP release any kind of different materials. They were always behind seeing how the market reacts. So maybe that would be something.
So well, you think what people want is a steel 222?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't want one. I go against the grain. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of the 222, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but it seems to be what people want. You hear this a lot, where it's the steel 222.
Yeah, I mean the people say that the gold one, which is about $70,000, is too expensive. So they think that a steel one might be about 40 or so. You know, might be more accessible. I mean, Brad Pitt has worn a gold one, but he's also bought a steel one, a vintage steel one. So he's been seen wearing. He's a big fan of the 222. I love the gold one myself, but some people say that on the Watches with Dennis stream, they were discussing that if they brought out a steel one, would the prices of the gold one, the secondary prices of the gold one come down and make it more accessible for people to get the gold one? Which could happen. That could happen and make it more accessible for people to get the gold one. But
I would have thought it would make it. I would have thought the feeding frenzy would drive the price up, if anything. Like do you know what I mean? Tends to happen. I feel if there's a buzz and a hype around something, and everyone wants that piece, then it sort of drives up the price of all of the other things around it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
and is the gold one the gold one is $74,000 boutique exclusive? Is that available? Can people get that, or is the demand way too high for it? It's a cool watch. I love it. I think it's very cool. I mean, yellow gold. There's a comment there from Scratchy saying that he loves Vacheron Constantin, but they're out of his wallet range. And I'm the same, obviously, but so I tend not to. When the majority of your website says price on request, if it's like that old expression, if you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
So I look at these things.
Absolutely.
I don't even have any degree of aspiration to own within the VC range. So I tend not to. I'm not that familiar with their.
Yeah, Rich been saying VC watches are super conservative looking, very under the radar. Not all super conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, the overseas have tried to modernize the look, but I like a lot of the historic traditional range. You know, the 921, the 942, the triple calendar, the
traditional range. Some of the traditional range is unbelievable. The Tourbillon retrograde, amazing. I love the patrimony. I'd love a simple patrimony sometime if that were possible.
Yeah.
But if you're going for your first VC in steel, would you get an overseas, or would you get the 222 in steel?
Overseas.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think is just. It's beautiful. The blue overseas in steel is one of my favorite watches.
Yeah, I find that a bit more. I mean, to me, I would go for the overseas over the 222 any day of the week.
CB says he thinks it's overrated, the 222.
Yeah, I'm with CB. I think it's overrated.
I prefer it to the Royal Oak and to the Nautilus, to be honest, CB. But that's just personal preference. I'm not a big Genta fan. I'm not a big Genta hype boy. So I prefer the 222. But we'll move on. Breguet, 250 years old this year. Abraham Louis Breguet founded his manufacture in 1775 in Paris, probably one of the most historically important watchmakers around. The new CEO, Gregory Kissling, was appointed in October 2024 and is the ex-Omega CEO. Is he prepared to release something decent for the anniversary? The previous CEO probably arranged something, I would have thought. And to celebrate a quarter of a millennium, I would hope that Breguet have something special up the sleeve. Something truly Breguet that's highly technical inside and classic on the outside. Engine turned guilloche dials, and they're well known for that. They're the masters of engine turning, and a pocket watch maybe. They could well come out with a pocket watch, and so I mean, what are the sort of things that Breguet do? I mean, for me, it's got to be a classic. It's got to be something like this,
Okay.
Jamie Opulent style. I don't think it'd be doing a tradition.
I was going to say tradition. I think tradition open work watches. That's almost the epitome of all. I just love, in terms of Breguet, that's what I love about them. I think it's the epitome of watchmaking.
I'm with Ben.
I love the traditions. Don't get me wrong, I love them. But I just feel that the classic is more a sort of range to. Is more Breguet than the traditions. It's more classical Breguet than the traditions, and it's more aligned to do complications like this sort of a calendar watch, here, or a tourbillon, or a minute repeater, or something like that, is more likely to come in the classic range than the tradition range.
Okay.
I'd love them to do a minute repeater, gyro, tourbillon, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think you're right. If they were going to do something, Thomas, it'd have to be something like that, like a gyro tourbillon or something, to celebrate the heritage of the tourbillon.
Yeah,
I would have thought. Yeah. But didn't they just bring one out, like a double tourbillon, last year or the year before?
I think they probably have done. Yeah, probably just haven't done my research. Or do you think? I mean, I think that they will come out with something in the classic range. But do you think that they would veer to? I don't think they'd do anything type.
Type 20s lately.
Well, I was going to say I don't think they'd veer towards the Type 20, but do you think they'd veer towards the Marine or a new dive watch? This is my favorite Marine, with the big date. Do you think they'd veer towards bringing out something different, something new? A dive watch, possibly.
I agree with Jim Millett. He says Breguet needs to redesign the Marine range.
Yeah, 100%. I still don't get what the Marine range is. Like, I know it's a Marine chronometers, but what's it trying to do? Is it a tool watch? Is it a dress watch still? Is it something in between? I just feel like I don't know what Breguet Marine is and
I
where it's
agree
sitting.
100%. Like it's almost confusing as to what its purpose, the purpose of the watch is.
So
I think
maybe they should
their
just
attempt
scrap
on
it and give it something new.
luxury tool watch.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, it's got a beautiful dial and a big date and a rubber strap and a I don't know, crown guards.
Yeah, me as well. I agree with GCB. Maybe they will get a chronograph. Maybe that would pop up the line a little bit.
But I was saying the Marine is an Admiral's watch.
Okay. The Admiral
Funny
watch.
comment from
There's
CB.
a lot
Carl
of
Sound
fucking
round
Admirals
watches.
around. They need their own watch.
Carl Sound watches with Roman numerals. They look like church clocks. So Breguet is not my brand. So CB says church clocks. Okay, so what do we think? General consensus, Mark. What do you think Breguet are going to do?
You know, they I really think that they're going to do something with the Type 20 because that seems to be where they keep making.
Really?
Yeah, they seem to be wanting to push that line.
Abdul, what do you think?
I think maybe they would try one more time with this Marine line with something sportier. Maybe some kind of tradition classique new one. That's a beautiful one.
Pretty sure this one came out last year.
What do you think, Ben? What do you think they'll pop up with?
You're muted, Ben. Ben, you're muted.
Ben, you're muted.
I'm going to stick with my original. I think I hope something comes out in the tradition range. I look at Breguet as a brand, and I find it hard to believe that they're the same brand who do the Type 20 and the tradition range. The tradition range, to me, is Breguet, sticking their two fingers up to the new kids on the block, the likes of MB&F and Dorn Bluth and these guys in terms of open work watches. I love what they do in that range. They're the original. They're the best at it, and to me, that's the epitome of watchmaking. So I'm hoping something in the tradition range.
JCB?
Yeah, I think what you said was right before. I think the classic range probably lends itself more to doing more high horology stuff, and obviously we're seeing here the classic double tourbillon. So yeah, they might come out with a crazy watch like this as a sort of a big anniversary piece, and then they might support it with a whole new line or something. Who knows? But yeah, I think maybe like a double gyro tourbillon or something like that. Some crazy complication. They might come out with something like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is an open work dial or open work movement in itself. So if they were going to come up with something like that, then kudos. I'd tip my hat to that kind of thing.
Yeah. So next brand is Zenith, and they've got 160 years old this year. Founded by Georges Favre-Jacot in 1865 in Le Loc. He's considered one of the first to develop the concept of a manufacturer, bringing all the major watchmaking professions, movement, dialing, case makers under one roof. In 1899, Zenith launched the first chronograph pocket watch, and a year later, in 1900, won a gold medal at the Paris Universal Exhibition. Among one of the most famous owners of a Zenith was Mahatma Gandhi, who carried a Zenith pocket watch with an alarm complication, which sold at auction for $2 million US. Famous for their El Primero chronographs. What do you think they'll release for their anniversary? Another diver or chronograph in ceramic, or what do you think we'll get from Zenith?
Is it just Is it just me, or does Zenith seem like the most expensive homage brand lately with the stuff that they come out with? Everything just seems to be a derivative of something else.
What do you mean? What are they homaging besides the Chronomaster Sport, which is the Daytona ripoff?
Like these divers, these extreme divers, they just look like they're trying to be something else. The Defy Skyline is kind of a homage. I get the Revival is an old design of theirs. The El Primeros that they come out with, the Chronomasters kind of look like Daytonas.
Yeah, I think the Chronomaster Sport was obviously the Daytona ripoff, but everything else has a link back to their back catalog in some way or shape or form. I think
the new pilot watch.
These pilot watches were a big flop, I think.
100%. Yeah.
They were a big flop last year. They came out last year and they flopped.
It's nice, but that is a bit derivative, isn't it? It's got like that has a Nautilus dial effectively.
Very much so.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the Defy line, to be honest with you.
I owned a Skyline. It was a very nice watch. But
it used to be one of my favorite watches was the Defy with the Sunburst Blue dial before they brought out the waffle dials. It doesn't seem to be in their catalog anymore.
Yeah, they do a lot of one from their old catalog.
That one then.
Yeah, but it was before they
put
the pattern on the dial.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's just called the Defy Classic, I think it was.
Yeah. Yes, I really like that watch.
And then it went to the Defy Skyline.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the revivals, the A384, the A381. This one, I'm not such a fan of the multicolored sub-registers that they do.
I like it. The only thing I don't like about this one, Tom, is the 4 lume. The 14er. I'm not a big fan of.
Right, got you.
Yeah, because the original El Primero that came out with a tricolor dial like that one. So it's it harks back to the original version that came out, which is kind of cool.
I think things like the Shadow, I think, are bangers.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cop a lot of heat for this. I know it, but I'll say it anyway. I think Zenith needs to make a diver that is like one that people actually want to wear.
Yeah.
So if you think about their catalog at the moment and how it's been for the last probably 20 years, they haven't had a diver that people want in the catalog up until this new diver that came out 2 years ago, that Zenith Defy. Yeah, these ones here. Like, I mean, this is way too out there. It's too avant-garde.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cop heat for saying what they need to do is bring out something actually that's a little bit more derivative. And I know you guys are probably going to be like spewing up when I say that, but honestly, they need to compete head-to-head with the sub. They need to compete head-to-head with the Seamaster.
Right, JCB, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like they've got all of the tools, like they've got all the building blocks there to bring out a killer dive watch, like what they used to have in the 70s. They used to have these cool Zenith Elite divers and all this sort of stuff. They had really, really cool dive watch, and then they lost that, and they went down this. They went hell for leather on the El Primero and the Defy line and the pilots, and they just dropped off on the dive watches. I think they need to do what they did with the Daytona, right, with the Chronomaster Sport. They need to do that for the sub and bring out a diver that people actually are going to wear and get excited about. I just don't think people are excited about these divers. They look at this and go, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like this is too much like a Defy, isn't it? This is too much like a device skyline. It was mixed up with a diver.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It looks like a Defy skyline mated with a like an offshore.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree totally with JCB. I think they should get a thin skin diver watch, 120 meters water resistant, something like that, that everyone can wear in the office, that looks nice, looks like the typical diver that 90% of the people will wear every day without going to swim with it. But it just has to be thin, sleek design. But this thickness that they are going now with, like Omega, I'm not supporting this movement, to be honest. This thicker watches, bigger watches. It just.
What do you think to this? What do you think to this mini Doxer style diver they came out with last year?
Well, I mean, I appreciate that this one really, this range came out of their back catalog, like almost 1-to-1. Except for the size. So I can appreciate that part of it. I don't care for the watch myself, but I appreciate what they did.
Yeah, I like the fact that it exists, like it's cool, but I wouldn't buy it.
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting to listen to JCB because I didn't realize they had a history in divers. When I think Zenith, I think El Primero and Chronograph. I love the Revival range. I really love the smoky dial, Tom. I know you have the white dial. I think they're great. I love the Chronomaster.
Oh, the cappuccino dial, yeah.
Yeah. I like the way they do the multicolored sub dials. For me, that separates the Chronomaster Sport from the Daytona. And in terms of their chronograph, they're one of those few brands that can get away with those open heart style dials in the chronograph range. I think they do those open hearts better than anybody else.
I really like these Chronomaster originals that they do.
Without with the tachometer on the inside. I prefer to look at that now to the Daytona ripoff.
Yeah, I think these are cracking watches.
And the Hodinkee version of this watch is unreal because it's got meteorite subdials. It's a cracker, man.
Really?
Right. Yeah. They killed it. Real cool piece.
So what do we think that they could come up with then? What do we think? You think a diver, JCB?
Well, if you just share my screen, just for Ben's sake, I'll just show just quickly what I've got in my head. It's a sort of 70s, Zenith. This is what they had in the back catalog. Like they've got this is the stuff that they had around. Like I know it looks derivative and it just sort of looks like any other diver that's out there.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? They've got this there. Like this is look at this, man.
Buy this.
Look at this mango dial. They call it the mango dial. Like they've got a lot. This is like cool stuff. Like if they brought out a modern version of this, and maybe look, give it some quirk, give it some design language that's Zenith and something that's different. But something like this in a modern, with a modern twist, I think they'd have a hot seller on their hands because it could, like that you could be competing with the Breitlings, Omegas, and Zeniths, and even Rolex maybe. But get into that dive segment of the luxury diver, and bring something that's just not a sub. Bring something else and get into it.
Yeah, that's very cool. That yellow dial is very cool. And then like Zenith as well, similar to AP, like they have a history of novelties as well and themed novelties. I remember a Rolling Stones watch that they had, and they played a tribute to Carl Cox, the DJ, at one point where the subdials were like the DJ mixing desk with the records and all that. So
the Carl Cox.
Yeah. Cool. So maybe they'll come out with some sort of novelty. Which anniversary of Zenith is it, Tom?
Beautiful watch.
The 160th. 160 years.
Okay.
I think people are talking about a thin divers. Look at this, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 8 millimeters or something. Maybe. They can do it.
They can do it. Yeah, the indices on that are quite unique.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tom? What do you think they'll come out with?
I don't know. I think that I feel that they'll just rest on their laurels and bring out a chronograph, another chronograph, maybe a diver. But I think they've got so many chronographs. They're a chronograph brand, and I feel, and they've got more stuff in their back catalogue, I think, and we could see another revival, maybe. But I'd love to see a diver revival, or maybe not a revival, but something new, like you're wanting. That'd be good.
Zenith is under the LVMH umbrella. Am I correct in saying that?
Sure is. Yep.
Do you think they may have lost a bit of innovation as a result? That they're kind of moving towards more.
Yeah, no, family. Tag Heuer's and LVMH, and they've come up in leaps and bounds, haven't they?
Yeah, true.
Years, so
yeah, the the Carrera glass box is one of the most exciting releases in recent years.
Yeah.
So hopefully you would have thought that they're doing the same for Zenith. We'll see. So next brand, Glashütte Original. Excuse me. 180 years anniversary. Glashütte Original in its current form was founded in 1994 by an Eastern German conglomerate formed in 1951 from the watch company based in Glashütte, and is now owned by the Swatch Group. The roots of the company go back to 1845, when the first watchmakers Ferdinand Adolf Lange, Morris Grossman, Julius Assmann, and Adolf Schneider came to Glashütte to manufacture watch parts and pocket watches. And these are considered the forefathers of Glashütte watchmaking. And in 1843, Ferdinand Adolf Lange wrote a letter to the Royal Saxon government detailing a plan to open a watch factory in Glashütte and begin educating apprentices. Lange had recently returned from Switzerland, where he saw apprentices working on one specialization, where he saw this practice work well. And it was different than traditional German watchmaking, but the Royal Saxon government liked what they read, and a substantial loan to Lange to kickstart his plan was given. It flourished so much that Glashütte watches started to be copied, and as a response to this, they started to use the word original to indicate that they were really from Glashütte. And this is where the Glashütte original name gets its name from today. Glashütte was bombarded during the war and suffered extensive damage, and the Soviet army even demanded reparations from Glashütte in the form of tools and machinery. And the GDR government combined all existing watchmaking companies in Glashütte into one state-owned enterprise. And after the reunification of Germany in 1990, all of the watchmaking brands in Glashütte carrying on in the German watchmaking tradition. So what will Glashütte Original make for their anniversary, if anything? So go to the Glashütte Original site and let's have a look what they have. So they've got a Panaluna inverse. They've got the CQ diving watches. They've got the I just want to scroll through a lot of garbage. The Senator, is it the Senator range? Yeah, the Senator range. I think Abdul quite likes these. So Abdul.
Yeah.
The Senator range, the Panamatic Luna, which looks a bit like a Lange one with a big date and moon phase.
Yeah, I like that.
Collection.
I like that line, man.
That one, the
Panama
Panama Luna. Yeah.
Beautiful watch.
That's a nice one.
That's an affordable Lange one, in my opinion.
The CQ Panorama Date with the big date, which is quite a big watch. I mean, I like the CQ. I think it gets a bit of a bashing, but
does it? Yeah, I think it's fabulous.
I think it's fabulous.
Quality pieces.
I almost prefer it to the Submariner, to be honest with you. But
that watch wears smaller than you think it would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goes on.
They got the 70 square case, TV case. They got the 60s case as well, which has a big date. The Serenade Luna against ladies' watches. The 70s, as I showed. What do we like from Glashütte then? What do you think they could come up with, if anything? Will they celebrate their roots of 180 years? I was going to say, or will they just? Do they not consider themselves 180 years old? Do they just consider themselves born in 1994? Do you think? Would they celebrate the original Glashütte roots?
180 is a tough anniversary. You know, it's not 200. It's not 150. So I don't know that they're going to do much.
Yeah, agree. It's a funny anniversary.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nothing one, really.
But given that wristwatches only came out 125 years ago, what were they all doing prior to like 1900? I presume they were pocket watch
and clocks.
Yeah, and clocks, pocket watches and clocks. Yeah. I love the Pano range, Tom. In terms of Glashütte, I could see myself owning something like that in the future.
Yeah.
I actually like the Pano Reserve. I prefer the Pano Reserve, which has a power reserve complication, rather than the Pano Lunar, which has the moon phase. I just think it's a cleaner looking watch. It comes in a sunburst blue dial, stainless steel. It's out of this world.
Pano Reserve.
Panomatic Reserve, yeah.
Does that look a bit like this one?
Yeah, it's the very same as that, except instead of a moon phase at like 2 o'clock there, it's got a power reserve.
Right,
Power reserve, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they would add a new color or something for the panel or the Senator line.
Yeah.
Maybe
they do some real haute horology things within that range as well. Incredible stuff, tourbillons, open work movements, and then all of the precious metals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could just maybe. I don't know whether they're going to celebrate the original anniversary or whether they don't consider themselves. Whether they consider themselves more of a Phoenix brand.
They are. I mean, they are really in essence a Phoenix brand, aren't they? 1994. Somebody obviously got control of
in essence, yeah, in essence. But
we didn't celebrate that last year.
Yeah. Higgins Gardens in this watch. Yeah, they didn't even celebrate that last year, Mark. Yeah, you're right. So, will they celebrate? And we'll move on to the next brand, which is a sort of sister brand, which is Lange Söhne. So
baby.
basically, Lange had a similar history to Glashütte Original, and the brand was originally founded in 1845 by Ferdinand Adolf Lange, and who strongly believed that a sophisticated nation like Germany should have a fine watchmaking centre to compete with the Swiss watch industry, utilising German engineering. And they ceased to exist in 1948 following the occupation by the Soviet Union after World War II. The current Lange trademark was re-registered when they were refounded in 1990 by Walter Lange, the great-grandson of Ferdinand Adolf Lange. And since 2000, Lange GmbH has been a subsidiary of the Swiss Richemont Group. They still have a distinctive Glashütte style and design, and an expanding range from classic Lange 1 to Odysseus and Complications. So will Lange celebrate their original birth year anniversary as well as Glashütte original, or a version? I think a version of the Saxonia would be fitting, as the company's slogan is "State of the Art and Tradition." I think it'd be nice for Lange and Glashütte to celebrate their roots. I mean, they've got some cracking watches. It's just will they do it? I mean, any other expansion on this? Well, what do you think, Abdul? I mean, you're based in Germany.
I think they would do. I think they would maybe get something, two kind of watches, one on the high end, maybe a Richard Lange or something, with a new complication, and maybe another version of the Odysseus.
Yeah, but nothing celebratory as such.
I don't think they're like the Swiss, especially Omega, where they will kill the anniversary until it's dead, like use hundreds of limited editions, new colors and stuff like that. But maybe they want to just bring something back, some kind of complication that was done in pocket watches into wrist watches, some kind of, I don't know, Fusian chain plus something. They always do something that tops the last edition that they did. So I don't think they will do something that's, let's say, just celebrating the anniversary with a subpar release of just new colors, something like that.
Yeah.
Very
okay. No,
I don't know if they're
sorry, Mark. Carry on.
I don't know if they're a sentimental brand.
Yeah, that's the main point, really, isn't it? That all defines it, whether it's sentimental enough to want to celebrate anything.
We have the 1815.
I want to see a quadruple. Sorry, Ben. I want to see a quadruple split chronograph come out, Tom. So they've got the single split, they've got the double split, the triple split. So why not bring out a quadruple split? That's what they should do.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Just looking at the website here, Tom, just in terms of sentimentality, the 1815 apparently is named after the year of the birth of Ferdinand Adolf Lange. Adolf is an unfortunate middle name, isn't it?
Right, okay. Yeah.
But so they have some sentimentality there.
Yes, it would be nice. I mean, hopefully we will see something. I'd like to see something from them this year. It'd be good. It'd be really good if they could celebrate their roots. But we'll move on to a brand which is not particularly celebrated amongst watch nerds now. Baume Mercier, 195 years are celebrating. This Richemont subsidiary was founded in 1830. During the 19th century, they had an international reputation and had set accuracy records and won timekeeping competitions. In 1973, they made the Riviera, which was one of the world's first steel sports watches, and they more recently faded into the background and had a short-lived down market. Baume brand, which launched in 2018 and sold online using Ronda and Miyota movements. And in 2016, they presented some more affordable offerings in the sub $1,000 bracket. I have no idea whether they'll try and cash in on their anniversary or wait until 200 years. I'll just bring up their site quickly. There's some not very attractive stuff on there. Bit of an entry brand for a lot of people.
They seem to be trying to really push that Riviera brand. My local Rolex AD has Baume Mercier, and the case is mostly Rivieras.
Yeah. So
the Classima is a nice looking, kind of entry level dress watch.
But the Riviera's coming in a lot of different. I mean, I guess they're ladies' ones, but
there's a million of them. Yeah.
There's a million of the Rivieras. I mean, this is one that's
every version for every kind of complication. I think they would just.
That's a calendar one. That's a calendar one.
But as far as integrated sports bracelet watches go, the integration of that bracelet is somehow off-putting.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it just doesn't look right for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classima, you like the Classima, D-Mark?
I mean, it's a beautiful entry level dress piece,
£2,900. This is quite a lot of money.
We started around $1,200 in one in that one.
Right. Okay.
If you're buying Baume Mercier, you get 50% discount.
That too.
Yeah. You're on point there, Abdul. I think. Yeah.
You move up the Rolex list if you buy Baume Mercier.
Yeah.
That salmon dye Riviera looks nice from a distance.
Yeah.
£2,675. So it seems to have a hammered dial.
It's almost Alpine Eagle-esque.
It actually reminds me of the dial reminds me of the Alpina, the Extreme.
Okay.
Mark, you mentioned a word that I think it's really fitting, off-putting. It's just an off-putting watch somehow. It's really
something about the way it is. It just
no, you're really correct about that.
So will they?
Yeah, I think they will definitely use the attention, or try to use the anniversary to bring more attention to the brand. But I think where they were going, they're just going more down and down.
Yeah. It's odd because you see like I like what like a Raymond Wheel is doing, which is a similar brand price point wise and stuff. And I like the Miller's May and stuff and some of the things that they're doing, but I look at Baume Mercier and I it seems to be going the opposite direction.
Yeah. So we don't think much about Baume Mercier then. We don't really know much, I guess. They're a bit off the radar, aren't they? Yeah. They're a bit off the radar, aren't they, for us?
Yeah.
So on to a brand Ben's more familiar with. Hopefully you might be able to give us some insight into this brand, Ben. Grand Seiko, celebrating 60 years this year. Born in 1960, Grand Seiko is the realization of Seiko founder Kintaro Hattori's mission to create the ideal watch. While both Seiko and Grand Seiko are part of the Seiko Watch Corporation, they're not the same brand. And Grand Seiko fine luxury timepieces that rival many of the most famous and prestigious Swiss watches on the market. The name Seiko derives from the Japanese language, which encapsulates multiple meanings, and they are holy, truth, and child, which reflect the cultural significance and values. And I mean, they've got a lot in their stable. They've got their movements, which are high beat, spring drive, 9F, and then they've got the micro artist studios. And they do celebrate with a lot of these blinged out watches of late.
Yeah.
They've got the Kodo Constant Force.
Constant Force, yeah.
They've got the one you talked about in the last show, the SPG, the 201, I think, was it?
There was an SPG W005. They have a new high beat manual wine movement with 80 hours of power reserve. Oh yeah, that one there, the SPGZ, that's quite similar to the one we were looking at last week.
And then they're well known for their dials, aren't they? They're well known for their dials. So
yeah,
will we just see a slew of dials, do you think? Or
I would say invariably similar to Omega, the answer would be yes, they will celebrate it in some way. I mean, they only need a lake to freeze over before they're celebrating with a frozen lake dial, or they celebrate the mountain beside their workshop. But extremely, and they've got tons of innovation behind them as well. I think the 9F quartz movements are unbelievable in terms of their timekeeping and how they operate and adjust to various temperatures. The spring drive and quartz, let's not forget, was a Seiko innovation. The spring drive obviously is their innovation as well, and then they have this new high beat manual wine movement, which is the first for them. They create watches across all the ranges, be it a diver, GMT, dress watches, stuff that harkens back to their catalog, and they love to celebrate. They love to celebrate the various anniversaries, be it the anniversary of Spring Drive, the fact that it's the 60th anniversary, that's a big one. So I think they will invariably come out with something, whether it's a novelty piece or something that's autorology like their Constant Tourbillon, or something that celebrates. They've had some really unique case shapes, the 44 GS case, and they're very Grand Seiko and the people behind Grand Seiko are very much into their own design philosophies with the 44 GS case. So and every case really that has come after that is derivative of it. So this is fantastic.
I'm a huge fan of the Elegance collection, and this in particular, this Omoitari dial. I love the fact that they've put the power reserve on the back of the watch, rather than on the front, with it being a hand wound spring drive movement.
Yeah, the finishing on their movements as well is second to none.
Yeah,
I love the brand. I think they're very exciting, very innovative. So I actually look forward to seeing what they come out. I was going to say, they might go back to their 44 GS case with the flat surfaces, the sharp edges, but in reality, nearly every case that they do has come from that underlying design principle. And they did bring out a 44 GS case in late 2024, which was a 1-for-1 replica of what they were doing back in the 60s. So there is that. They won't repeat that. I don't know what I can't really let you know what exactly they will do. But invariably they will release something.
Do you know what's missing from their line though?
Yeah.
Chronographs. I think they've got one. I'd love to see some more chronographs from Grand Seiko.
Maybe
and even
smaller pushers.
Even some more like complicated pieces, perpetual calendars, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
because it's Grand Seiko. It's like you got Seiko, and then like Grand Seiko is really known. I feel like it's known for its finishing and some of its movement innovation in spring drive and that sort of stuff.
yes.
But they need to, for my mind, they need to take that step up into more complicated pieces. That's what I'd like to see from Grand Seiko.
Yeah, I mean, they've the Constant Force tourbillon, but that's more of a novelty piece, really, than something that, as you say, is in their catalog for the mainstream.
Yeah.
What do you think to this? Logically Rational saying, I would love to see the brand more. I would love the brand more if the name on the dial was only GS. Do you think that'll ever happen? Do you think that
instead of Grand Seiko?
Instead of Grand Seiko.
Yeah. So just have the GS logo instead of having Grand Seiko underneath. I think that's what
I've argued for a long time that, like, if I want a nice Toyota, I don't buy a Grand Toyota, I buy a Lexus. I never understood the name. I think the name to non-watch people cheapens what's their thought of what's on your wrist.
Yeah, Patek Philippe says King Seiko was the best name, but it's funny though. Like, you've got GS Grand Seiko, that's what's on the dial now. Up until 2017, everything was co-branded. It had Seiko at 12, Grand Seiko at 6, and believe it or not, those pieces have become very collectible because they phased them out almost 10 years ago now, and I know the last batches of them that were being sold through Weirs, which was the AD in Dublin, they were very much sought after, the cosine dials.
I mean, I've come close on a couple of occasions of buying that Evolution 9 GMT, I think they call it the Mist Flake, when it kind of looks like a mirror. I like that watch.
That's really nice.
Right.
Maybe I think the King Seiko branding is actually a quite a good point to put it between the Seiko, King Seiko, and then GS, and then Crador. So it would be a nice leveling for their luxury brand, because you have to think Seiko's market is Japan is one of the biggest markets for Japanese watches. So basically, and it's all hierarchical there. So you have Crador, the CEO watch, the let's say the division manager, Grand Seiko managers say Grand Seiko, and then higher employees King Seiko, and then the lower one Seiko.
So I think they'll come out with a lot more dials. I don't know whether they'll come out with a new watch for the 60th anniversary. Be nice to see some chronographs, JCB. Some more chronographs. You're right there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a slew of different colored dials themed by, like Ben says, the pilgrims on the mountains that were walking across the ice, and the giants that swam in the lakes of Sewer, in the I don't know, whatever they want to make up.
I just slightly off topic there, Tom. I just see Patek Philippe in the comments that he was offered a Nautilus 5711 blue dial. At Keynes in County Cork.
At Keynes in Cork.
That sounds like a story of regret, Patel.
What's Keynes? Is that like
it's just a
AD or something?
Yeah.
AD,
it's a chain, really. They have several ADs. They're Rolex as well. I think Keynes, they do Rolex. They're in Cork and they're in Limerick for sure. I think they have one in Galway as well.
So penultimate brand that's celebrating anniversary is Tag Heuer. 165 years, founded by Edward Heuer in 1860 as Uhren manufacturer Heuer. They became pioneers of chronographs, patenting the oscillating pinion in 1887, which is a system still incorporated in many of today's finest chronograph watches. They've had many firsts. Dashboard chronos, watches accurate to 100th of a second, high and low tide indicators, etc. And in 1985, Techniques at D'Avant-Garde acquired the company. And in 1999, LVMH bought the brand, a big gateway brand now, revitalizing themselves with good revival designs and Formula One sponsors again. So... excuse me, this cold is still with me. Do we think that we'll see some Formula One sort of celebrations?
Formula One.
100%. 100%.
I think Watches with Dennis said on his stream that the Tag Heuer Carrera Caliber 1887 was released in 2010, 15 years ago. So will they release a new Carrera or 2 or 3 or 4? More than likely, I would imagine. Yeah,
more than likely a Carrera, more than likely a Monaco, because they will have now the official timekeeping of Formula One instead of Rolex, and they still have Red Bull as a sponsor. So for the first race, you have Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion. He will be wearing the anniversary Tag Heuer watch that they have, and then at maybe some point in the year, they will have another one. They could have even one for Formula One and then another one for Red Bull. You know, that I think they would just do it until it's, you know, like nobody cares about it.
They paid so much money for that sponsorship. They're gonna milk that to death.
$150 million. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, Scratchy's got a good point. I like Tag watches, but another brand needs to review their pricing structure. Too expensive. They have gone up in price as of late, haven't they? They are a bit out of a lot of people's. They're not that gateway. They're not that gateway brand that you get for, you know, $4,000.
They had a weird, because they were like a, you know, like a luxury brand that went to that fell back into being like more of a mall brand, entry level gateway, and now they're trying to claw back up.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because I was around Christmas time, Christmas shopping, and I was walking down our main street in Melbourne where all the watch stores are and all the watch boutiques and ADs. And the watch store that had the most people in it and that looked the most busy when I walked past was Tag Heuer, like by a mile. It was fucking packed. There was people everywhere.
The brand identity's there.
Yeah. They're still, it's still popular. I think, I'd love to see them bring back the Formula One, the original version of the Formula One, but a bigger size. So around 39, 40 mil would be good. And not made out of shitty material, like actually some material that lasts, you know what I mean? So the bezel doesn't look like it's been shaved off after 10 years, you know what I mean?
Right.
That would be really cool.
Because
the current Formula One line, it's too big. Like the watches are too big. Like the chronograph, I think, is 43 mil, something like that.
Perfect.
For Lucha, it's fine.
The Monte Senna watches for a while. I'd like to see them come back out with something like that. You know, get Senna tribute, a new one.
Yeah,
the price.
The Monte is a cool watch. I bought a Monte and I gave it to my dad, Jim, and Patek Philippe saying Tag Heuer two-tone link was the power watch of the 1990s.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Rich Buddy's saying that Tag is hip with young chicks in the States. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, guys?
I see Jim saying Tag was the gateway into the hobby for many of us. Like, people see it as their first luxury watch, don't they? They see it as being in the upper echelon.
Yeah.
And it's probably a lot of its association with F1 and probably other timing events, but they never really hit my radar. And until I saw the glass box in Paul Sheeran's, and it blew me away to the point where I regretted owning a Speedmaster. I thought, this is a better watch than the Omega Speedmaster. Incredible. And then they've got the Skipper, which takes more kind of a marine.
Love the Skipper.
Very cool. And even their Carrera date watches, I think, are excellent.
Nice, beautiful one.
On the point of the prices being too high, I would have thought they were too high too, until they brought out the glass box, and then I could see the quality there. Like, they're €6,000 thereabouts. I presume you'll get €1,000 off that. I'm pretty sure on a secondary market you can pick one up for €5,000, which I just think they're fabulous.
I've had some Formula Ones. I had a Carrera date, and actually the nicest one that I had was an Aqua Racer GMT, the Batman-y looking one that they had. That was a solid watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joseph. Unfortunately, they can't drop the tag now. It's technically avant-garde, and that's part of their history. Who they bought out before LVMH bought them. So,
they do that.
It wouldn't be right for them to just return to the Heuer name. I don't think. What do you think, guys? Do you think
they do those every once in a while? They'll do like an anniversary special edition just in Heuer, and they're cool as shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's very much like a gifted watch. You see it being gifted a lot. Like, for someone special, you want to buy somebody a really, really cool watch. You might veer towards a Tag Heuer, like an Aqua Racer.
Yeah. So, last brand, and that is Panerai. Founded, celebrating 165 years, like Tag Heuer. Founded by Giovanni Panerai in Florence in 1860, the watches were famously worn by the Italian frogmen during World War II. Now owned by Richemont, they make the Radiomers, Luminors, as well as the submersibles, and have partnered with the Lunarossa sailing team. What do we think we'll see from Panerai? Anything special, or just more of the same?
I think the issue with Panerai is that they did so many mistakes in the past by deviating from the past. They were a really excellent tool watch brand. They had a huge fan base that loved big chunky watches, and then they went from doing the best chunky watches that they can to just putting at a movement, selling it as an anniversary model, not polishing the movements, doing even their Instagram posted some fake Panerai watches because the fakes are almost at the same quality as the watches that come out of the factory. That shows you how much attention to detail. And then their answer was, we'll make smaller watches with 30 meters water resistance and gold swimming watches, as if that's will push the brand up. And I think they totally missed the mark. And if they continue with this, most probably nobody will be paying any attention to them in the future.
Yeah. That day when I was walking down the city past the watch stores, Panerai was empty. There's no one in there. Like, no one's going in there. There's just not a brand that's on the map anymore, which is a shame, but they need to change something. So what that's going to be, who knows? I really don't know.
I like Panerai. I mean, I've got one myself, and I really love it. I bought it in 2011, and I wore it for solidly. I wore it more than my Rolex, and I really like the brand, but they haven't really expanded their collection, have they? They haven't really done much more apart from the same old churn and burn.
But if you you had that high complications watch up earlier, like nobody thinks of Panerai for that. They think of the big chunky dive watch. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think if Panerai wants to be revived, they should produce a watch that they are totally honest about. They say, hey, this is a 3,000 euro diver watch. We have an ETA movement inside, 38 hours power reserve, 300 meters water resistance, black dial, no date, just the cheapest we can do is 3,000 and sell it for that.
Yeah.
I think might do something. But I think with this kind of, like, who's buying an 80,000 euros Tourbillon gold Panerai?
Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, well, Thompson McDonkey's saying, hell yeah, he loves his Pams. He wants his submersible Carbotech, the Luminor Carbotech, the submersible Bianco. He wants them all. The Luminor Tourbillon Carbotech is insane and badass. And yeah, the Carbotech, that's one thing that they do really well. The technology with the carbon cases.
Do they do it? They do a ceramic as well, don't they? They've got a ceramic. They do ceramic and carbon, I reckon.
I'm not sure whether they do ceramic or whether they've just done this Carbotech. I'd have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they used to anyway. I'm pretty sure they did a ceramic.
Right.
There's definitely a ceramic radio mirror anyway.
Yeah, a radio mirror there is, yeah. They should do a Luminor in ceramic. That would be pretty cool.
Luminor and radio mirror both, they have ceramic, yeah.
Oh, they did a Luminor in ceramic? Okay.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Like, I know a solid gold Panerai. A Panerai will be too big for me anyway in most cases, but like a solid gold Panerai is quite an impressive looking thing. It's a huge, big chunk of precious metal. Like,
do you think that they're really the kind of things that we want to see tourbillons in and stuff like that, though?
Well, it's the ultimate tool watch, isn't it? Like, when in terms of, I was always attracted to Panerai from just the simplicity, legibility of it, the sandwich dial, the big numerals, big case, a simple, cool tool watch, maybe with the power reserve or something like that. So it's not a brand that incorporates a tourbillon for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ceramic. Yeah, so Tobes is saying he had a radio ceramic with soda because he hates manual wind. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right, JCB. Yeah, so.
But it's 165 years as well, Tom, isn't it? So it might not be
a milestone. Years, so
might not be a milestone.
You're right there, Ben. You're right. So that's it, guys. That's our roundup for today. I just got to say a big thank you to our man.
Everybody's going to think it's Sunday morning, Thomas.
Well, I put the link to your stream tomorrow in the chat.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So everyone tune into good old Sunday morning Lucha stream or Sunday
I've got big news
Sunday,
tomorrow. Big
Sunday
news
night.
tomorrow. So
Really?
oh yeah. That'll be exciting.
And I'm just putting a link to Watches with Dennis's stream, which is in 2 hours.
Nice.
That's a great stream, really good, funny stream. Which is on in 2 hours. It's a great stream. I find I really enjoy Watches with Dennis on a Saturday. 4 p.m. GMT. That's about 11 o'clock Eastern time. So I think it's 10 p.m. for him because he's in Kansas. 10 a.m. Sorry. But yeah, thanks to everyone. Thanks to Lucha. Thanks to Abdul. Thanks to Ben. Thanks to JCB. Great to always see everyone.
Putting those watches together.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Make a shout out to the boys in the chat as well for joining us and everyone watching.
Always an honor to be on the channel with you guys. It's a great group.
Yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat for all your input and all your comments. And if you like what we do, guys, give us a thumbs up. Yeah, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And it's an invitation to subscribe, as Bill Sanders would say. So take it from the best. And yeah, so hopefully we'll see you on the next one. And if leave a comment in the comments about what you think the brands will maybe do. Different brands will maybe do for their anniversaries, if anything. If you got any good ideas. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot and take care. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Take care.